You're going to see temperature controlled in the home aquarium is going to be by either adjusting the temperature of the entire space or by using a heater. So most people are going to use a heater. There's a couple different types of heaters that you can get for your aquariums. You'll have fully submersible. The top has to stay outside of the water. You have some that are preset, and you have some that are adjustable. When you're going to buy a heater, you also have to size it appropriately for your tank. You need different wattage range for a larger tank than a smaller tank. About 5 watts per gallon of water. As an example, a 29-gallon tank is going to need roughly a 100-watt heater. So you can just kind of size that up from there when you're deciding what size heater to buy for your aquarium. Numbers can change a little bit too based on your situation. You know, let's say it's outside, you're in a cold environment, maybe it drops to, 45, 50 degrees constantly where you all live, and you want to heat your tanks up to, 75, 78 degrees. Okay, well, you may need a little bit extra wattage because you have such a significant temperature change. Maybe in your home, you run it at 70, 72 degrees in your house, and you want to crank it up to 75 or 78 inside of your aquarium. You're not going to need as much power to kind of crank it up those couple degrees. So that 5 watts per gallon is going to be pretty safe. Maybe in that more extreme outdoor environment, you may want to consider upping the wattage a little bit. That's up to you. Heaters are not foolproof. Like any other piece of equipment, it can fail, it can break, it can cause problems. So some of the things to watch out for with a heater have to be in the water. So anytime you're doing a water change, removing water from your tank or something, you always turn my heaters off in order to prevent any risk to that. And that way I'll just turn them back on when my tanks are filled back up. You run into a situation where your heater sticks in the off position or just breaks and stops working, and the temperature in your tank can drop. So that's something to be aware of. I like to have an additional thermometer somewhere in the tank, usually stuck to the side or floating around in the tank. That way I can kind of see that temperature easily and know, hey, something's wrong or not. Sometimes they can also stick in the on position, and there's been plenty of cases where a heater will stick on and it'll end up boiling the fish to death, gets the water too hot. So that's another reason I like to have a additional thermometer somewhere else in the tank. That way, again, I can monitor that and see, hey, something's going on, my temperatures are too high, or if there's any sort of an issue. Because of some of these common equipment failures, I like to have a second heater sitting around the house also. Some people will just run them inside of the tank, and they'll actually just run them a couple degrees cooler than the other one. Say you have one heater set at 78, they'll run the second one at 75. That way, if that heater breaks, it'll automatically kick on and start using the other one and keep it still at a safe temperature. I don't typically do that. I'll have one just additionally somewhere around the house. That way, if there is an issue, I can quickly swap it out for a new heater, and then usually my fish will be pretty safe. Preference on heaters is going to be something submersible, and it's going to be something adjustable.